Hi, Ruth from RunHappierPT.com here with week 6 postpartum exercise video. So this week didn't really mix up the exercises too much, but I did add in some yoga routines from an instructor that I like on YouTube, as well as on Friday I went through the benchmarks from the Return to Run postpartum recommendations or guidelines paper that was published back in 2019, just to see how I do. So I think I told you last week I'd done a couple of the things just to kind of test the waters, and so Friday I went through the whole list of things, and so today I just want to go through that whole list with you, demonstrate, and then kind of let you know what things to be looking out for. So there's a strength, just like a general musculoskeletal lower extremity strength portion, and then there's kind of a pelvic floor core stability portion. So for the lower extremity strength portion, they recommend that you be able to do 20 repetitions each for single leg heel raises, single leg sit to stands using a chair, single leg sideline hip abductions, and single leg bridges. So I'm going to go through those real quick. For my higher level runners, people returning to longer distances like half marathon, marathon, beyond. In the clinic, I would typically use 30 repetitions for my benchmark, but for postpartum, if we're looking to just return to run or just recreational runners in general, those like 5K, 10K distances, those of us looking to start back up with like a couch to 5K program, something like that, 20 repetitions is great. So form is key. Single leg heel raise, we've gone over this, but just to refresh your memory, you can use one finger on a wall or a counter surface for balance. You're going to be on one foot, other leg does not touch the floor at all. The leg you're standing on, you want to have a straight knee the whole time, and you want to be going up all the way on your tiptoe as high as you can. No swaying or swinging of the body to get up. No bending of the knee, no kind of like hopping, use of the arms. You really just want to isolate what can that calf muscle do. So aiming for 20 repetitions on each side. Like so. The single leg sit to stands, you're going to need a chair for this one. It's like a single leg pistol squat, but you're only going down about halfway. So you want to sit back in those hips. Non-standing leg should be out straight in front the whole entire time. And you're going to sit back just to touch the surface of the chair and then come back up. So you're not actually sitting all the way down and then standing back up. You want to see if you can just kind of barely lightly touch and then come back up. This one challenges your balance as well as kind of that quad glute strength, foot and glute control for hip and foot control. And again, you want to be able to do 20 in a row each side. Like so. Okay, side lying hip abduction, we've gone over as well. Laying on your side, bottom leg can be bent, top leg needs to be straight. You want your hips to be stacked, so you want them to be vertical, not rolled back or rolled forwards. You want to be vertical. And you're going to be lifting that top leg up towards the ceiling and slightly back behind you. So almost like a diagonal movement. Want your toe and knee on the lifting leg to continue pointing straight ahead. They shouldn't turn up towards the ceiling. And again, 20 in a row on each side. And then single leg bridge. For this one, you're going to have one leg out straight to start. That leg's going to stay straight the whole time. Hands should be clasped up towards the ceiling. You're going to squeeze your glutes, lift those hips up, back down. So with this one, you're looking for 20 in a row. You want the hips to get as high as they can, but you are looking for kind of an opening up or dropping down of that non-lifting side, or an arching in the back, or hamstring cramp would be a sign that you're not working properly. You really just want to feel it in the glutes. And again, 20 on each side. And kind of paying attention to differences one side to the other. Is one side harder than the other? Is one side painful and the other's not? Looking for any sort of pain, more than just like a twinge. Looking for any pelvic heaviness, incontinence. Any of those things would be signs that you're just not ready, or if you just can't get to 20 with good form, that's a sign that you need to keep working on strengthening before you try to start getting back into running. Now for the pelvic floor and core stability portion, they don't mention it in the paper, but it's kind of recommended that you try them with a full bladder just to really test the integrity of the pelvic floor musculature. And for these things, there's quite a few of them. So the first one is be able to walk 30 minutes without any pain, pelvic heaviness, incontinence issues. Then jog in place for 1 minute. Double limb forward bounding 10 times. Single leg in place hopping 10 times each side. And then 10 single leg squats each side and 10 running man each side. So I'm not going to demonstrate the walking for 30 minutes. I feel like you've probably got an idea of what that's going to look like. So let's start with a minute of jogging. I mean, you can do like, if you're using a jump rope, you can do your arms like you're jogging, whatever you want to do. But just kind of little, like a jogging movement, just in place. And again, try it with a full bladder just to make sure you don't have any issues trying to go for a full minute there. Single leg mini squats. They don't mention any specifics on form, but I think basic good form for single leg squat should apply. So that opposite leg can go wherever you'd like. It can go to the back. You can do it like a pistol squat with it coming to the front. You can just kind of drop straight down with it. That's fine too. Just make sure that the standing leg is staying in line. Hips are staying level. That you're not getting any kind of hip drop or rotation with the knees coming together or this knee just kind of caving in. Everything should stay lined up, toe, knee, hip on that standing leg, and the pelvis should stay level. This one's going to kind of challenge your balance a little bit as well. And then from the side, making sure that that knee is not coming way in front of your toe. So you don't want to be coming way in front. This way, kind of practice sitting back in those hips so the knee stays in a good position there. Okay, double limb hops, forward hops. They want 10 in a row. Obviously this space is not long enough for that, but it's just jumping forward like so as far as you can, and then you would repeat. Preferably all in a row in a line, but if you don't have space, just doing them back and forth will work. That's actually one that I felt a little discomfort on at my pubic symphysis. That one, the single leg bridge, and then I've noticed if I try to do any kind of adductor work, so like pressing in or like a side plank with my top leg supporting my body, those things are still pretty irritating to me. So that's where I'm mostly focusing is hip flexor and adductor strengthening, as well as stretching, and then just glute control strengthening exercises. Okay, back to the test. Single leg hops. So instead of the like jogging in place alternating, now we're looking at 10 repetitions of just hopping on one foot. And then the other side. And then the last one is the running man exercise. So for that one, you're standing on one leg. You're going to come back into extension with one leg, flexion with that side arm. So kind of this position, and then the opposite, coming knee up and opposite arm up. So it's like a running, it's mimicking a running movement, but just balanced on one leg. So not actually going anywhere, just trying to check that stability, a little bit of balance there. Same thing other side, just thinking opposite arm and leg moving together. So they go back together, they come up together. They go back together, they come up together. And that's it. So like I said, I'm still working a little bit on pubic symphysis pain with that forward bounding, single leg bridging, basically anything that requires a lot of hip extension for me seems to be more irritating. So trying to do a lot of hip flexor mobility, deep core and hip flexor control, because that psoas muscle, which is a deep hip flexor, you need it to be mobile and flexible enough to get that leg behind you, but it's also your primary stabilizer back in that position. So trying to kind of work some strength and mobility at the same time there. And then the adductors as well, because they attach right next to that pubic symphysis and pull away on that one. So trying to gradually strengthen those and improve their flexibility to help with that discomfort as well. So that's where I'm at. Those are the different tests and benchmarks that we've kind of been building up and working towards. And once you've hit those things, that's when the authors of this study recommend you could try getting back into running. They recommend using like a couch to 5K course, something where you're alternating walking and jogging for the first bit, and just really taking it slow, really listening to your body, not pushing through any pain, but just trying to kind of assess with each run, with each portion of each run, how everything's feeling, and then using what you find to guide what exercises you're doing, what mobility work you're doing, and then also the progression of your run training. So this may be the last video I do. I'm kind of just going to see what I end up doing this next week. I may continue with my rotation of like a strength training day, a yoga and flexibility day, and then try to start adding in some walk jog days. And so I'll probably check in with you guys one more video just to let you know how it's going. If there's any new harder exercises that I've added in, go over those, and otherwise that's pretty much it. So highly recommend that you look up the Return to Running Postpartum paper and take a look at their exercise recommendations and benchmarks as well. Also, my usual disclaimer, this video is intended for information only. I'm just trying to tell you guys what I'm doing, share, my progress and my experience, but everyone's experience is different. And so I'm not trying to prescribe any particular exercise for any particular person. I would just recommend that you talk with your healthcare provider to find the exercises that are going to be most appropriate for you. And I wish you all the best of luck on your return to run journey. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.